everybody. Welcome back to the Cool Dad. So today I am going to start working on a project to address one of the very few, I don't even want to call it a complaint because that word is too strong. Concerns. That's one of the things that the things that's missing on Jade that I would like to rectify, and that is cup holders, among other things. Now, I've got a little stash spot here that I can put stuff in, but you know, there's only so much you can do with that. And anybody that knows me for any length of time knows I vape, and I'd like a place to put my vape when I'm driving too. So I'm going to kind of work that all out here. What I'm going to do, and I know I recently just put this in here, but I got thinking about it, and I've got some wood that I picked up, some scrap pallet wood, and I got some space here. And you know, I could actually build myself a little center console. Now, I don't want to come too far to the driver's side because this is not exactly a spacious vehicle, and I'm okay with that. It's actually comfortable. Not spacious, but comfortable. So I know where I want to keep it on this side, and I've got room to go that side. And so I figured I'd come out here and try working on a design for this. And in order to do that, I'm going to use CAD. No, not on the computer. CAD. Cardboard aided design. So I got a sharp knife, and I got some cardboard boxes. Let's see what we can put together here.
Here we go.
So I'm going to have to bring that back about to here. Okay. Almost got it. If I cut a straight line, that'd be great. Okay, now I want to kind of match this angle, so it's going to go kind of like that. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but you'll see the results shortly. Okay. This would probably be easier with a hobby knife, but I happen to have my little knife here, so that's what I'm using. It's sharp, so it works. Okay. Take a little bit more off there. Back about half an inch. The nice thing about cardboard aided design is if you take too much off, as long as you got more cardboard, you're good to go. And I've got plenty of cardboard sitting over here. almost there. What is holding it? Okay, so I'm gonna have to, actually, that's not bad. Let me take a look on that side. Oh, we're kind of scrunched in here. So I'm actually going to need a little more width, but that's at an angle though. I want it to be straight. So I'm going to have to knock out a little more than an inch from here. So okay, so knock that out a little bit. Okay, so that actually time for tape. Okay, so I'm going to put tape here. Now, honestly, this is probably going to end up, it might end up a little bit wider. Not 100% sure yet. But you guys will be with me while I'm working on it, so you'll see what I end up doing. Okay, on this side, yes. That's not too bad. So then I just need to add a little bit, add 1 3/4 inches, and I didn't bring a pen with me, of course. Actually, I got tape and I got more cardboard. There we go. Okay, now I need another piece. Okay, I'm working from behind the camera here. And actually I'm going to flip this around so it's not getting in my way. Okay, so there's our initial mock-up. I'm going to take a few minutes and check a couple things on this, and then we'll come back later. Okay, now, I did this off camera because I was trying to figure out the best way to do it and just did it since I had it, but because this is an interesting angle, I set up a piece of cardboard here and cut that angle into it. So when I'm building, I know I can get the right angle I need there. I know there's no reference points, but I'm getting there. Slowly. Surely, but getting there. Okay, so I've got my design put together. Now it's time to put some wood together and start working on it. So, probably see you in the workshop next. Okay guys, got my cardboard aided design here, but before I get into that I want to do something else real quick here. One of the things I am installing with this is, I'm trying to find something that would do the trick, is a switch panel for any additional stuff. My GPS will probably be installed in here. I got a couple of warning lights I'd like to install with this, so instead of having a mess of wires, I'm using this. Unfortunately, I got it a couple years ago and no idea where the diagram is to know which goes to what. So what I'm going to do is use a multimeter here and put it on, there we go, should be resistance, and it beeps when I've got the right resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this to the input and output wires are the same color. I'm going to start with white here, and then okay, so the top momentary switch is white. And we'll mark that. Now I do have red and black here, which are power for the backlights to it. Those I don't have to worry about. So let's now go to blue. So let me get the. And what I'm doing is I have the switches all turned off. So I make my connection, then I just turn on a switch till I get a connection. Nope. Nope. Okay, found my blue. Perfect. Okay, so we've got blue, we've got gray, or white. I'm going to guess that gray is going to be the other momentary switch because it's a thinner gauge wire. Here we go. Gray. Gray. And there we go. So this is gray. And now I'm just going to fast forward through testing the rest of them. Okay, and that's how we determine which switches are which wires. So once this is all put together and installed, I'll know how to set everything up. Let's get on to working with our wood after I put this away. Okay, all of the wood I've got is reclaimed pallet wood, so it's not perfect, but it'll do for what I want to do here. So the first thing I want to do is get it cleaned up. For that, I have a belt sander, and I have 80 grit on here, which is a pretty hefty, here's a spider, a pretty hefty grit, but this is just to get it really crunched down and cleaned up quickly. Yes, this has been sitting in storage for a hot minute. Fortunately, I have access to a nice workshop here, happens to be my dad's, so I am going to utilize that to get this cleaned up. I'm going to try and do this with as much basic hand and power tools as possible. There you go. I'm not going to get crazy like CNC stuff or anything like that. So, start with the first surface here. Okay, that is a very nice change there. So, unsanded surface, rough, nasty, gnarly. Sanded surface, a lot nicer. Not great because I need to take it up to a higher grit level to get a nice smoothness there, but to get started on working with it, this makes it a little bit easier to work with. So, now I'll move on to the other side. And yes, I know there's going to be some woodworkers that are going to say, don't go across the grain with it. This is not a showpiece, but it works. I've heard both ways to go cross grain or not cross grain. I'm starting with cross grain and finishing going with the grain. That's how I'm doing it.
Invincible.
Okay, and this is just a rough start for it, just so I can get it cleaned up enough to work with it. Got one down. Okay, I'm going to get started on this next one, get the rest of them done up, and then we'll come back. Okay guys, I was chugging along and I found this side of this board is actually pretty gnarly, so I just figured just to really show you the difference it makes to sand. Now, you can sand by hand. If you've got access to power tools, feel free. I happen to own a belt sander that I picked up several years ago for another project, and it works, so that's what I'm using. This can be done by hand, by power tools. If you've got a benchtop belt sander, go for it. Whatever works best for you. But here we're going to see why I'm starting out with the sander. did half of it, so you can see the difference. This is the side I did, the side I didn't do. Now, mind you, this will still get finish sanding once I'm just about ready to put it together. So I wanted to show you why it makes a difference. You go from this rough, gnarly to not so rough and definitely not gnarly. Okay, let me get this all done and I'll be back with you. Okay, now that I have these all rough sanded on the edge to get a lot of the crap off it from where it's been working as a pallet, I'm just going to kind of trim the ends so I know they're square. You can do this with a handsaw. I am fortunate enough to have a chop saw here, so I'm going to make use of that. And I just want to get enough to square the ends here. So, as with any power tool, safety is important. Always have your safety goggles on, or your safety squints. I'm wearing my glasses, so that takes care of it for me. Actually, this one, because it's got a split, I'm actually going to take that split right off because I'll still be able to use this for one of the ends. Okay, so I've got these edges trimmed, so I know I've got flat edges. If one thing to remember, if you're using pallet wood, this is hardwood, so you will have a harder time cutting it if you are using hardwood. That's why it's hardwood. I know it's probably common sense, but I have to say it. Okay, give me a minute. We're going to get set up so we can start laying this out, and we'll be right back with you. Okay. It's getting a little dusty in here, and no, I'm not wearing a face mask, so it is what it is. Using my cardboard aided design, I'm going to line up these two at the end here to kind of get an idea of what exactly it is I'm going to need. So I'm going to mark the top of this. Mark where the curve comes down. And while I've got it here, I'm going to make some registration marks so I know exactly where these two come together. Okay. So now that I've got that, I can go in with my other part of the template and mark off the rest of this curve. This is why I like my cardboard aided design. Okay. I missed my workshop and I knew where everything was. That's it. Straight edge here. Okay. So, I have my design transferred mostly to here. Darken that in just a tad. Okay, and mark out what I don't need. So, next step, I'm going to cut these out, make a second set so I can replicate it for the other side, and then we'll work on the top, the front, and the back. So I'll be back in a little bit. Hey everybody, Editing Cool Dad here. Well, it's not the end of it, it's just the end of this part of it, because I looked at the raw footage and I ended up with close to 3 hours of footage altogether. So I'm working my way through it, and I don't think any of you want to sit through an hour plus video, so we're going to cut it here. I'm working on the next parts now, and
Hopefully, I may get them out sooner than next week, but we'll see. So keep an eye out, hit that subscribe button, the notification button, like, comment, all that good stuff, and you will see when the next part to this drops, and we'll keep you updated. Thank you very much, and I will catch you all later.